Okay, now let's understand how to optimize your storage and warehousing processes with a cutting-edge warehouse management system from William Atmaja, PT, Intramega.
Hello. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I know it's a Friday afternoon, and we are just finished with our lunch, so it's a bit a long day already. So I hope this will not make you bored again. So let's start for today. Today agenda is basically how to optimize storage and warehouse processes using the cutting edge WMS. I will start with the key drivers for the WMS implementation. First of all, do you guys know what is WMS? Some people say it's a worksheet management system, but the one that we are talking today is actually the warehouse management system. So the key drivers or the potential initiative why we need to have a WMS in place is basically how to get the optimized storage. Whatever pallet position, whatever storage, whatever location you have in the warehouse, you can actually optimize it using the WMS. The second one is basically to reduce the order lead time, the fulfillment to the customer. Let's say for the e-commerce business, recently they put the same-day delivery within the 4 hours delivery window, within the 8 hours delivery window. Traditional way, if you manage it without the system, then it will become very hard to maintain your order. But with the WMS, there's a function called wave management that you can actually improve the productivity. The third one is basically to increase the stock accuracy. In the traditional way, you probably use the stock card. Let's say you have a pallet position, you have a floor area stacked around. You usually put a pallet near the pallet. You put the stock card, or in the location you put a stock card. When the people come and pick the items, you actually cross the quantity and replace it with new numbers. But with the WMS, basically everything is in the system. So all the quantity available, quantity in transit, quantity has been allocated, it's all available online. It's available real time. So the top management, the supervisor, the warehouse supervisor, and the warehouse staff can actually look into more accurate accuracy. The fourth one is basically the WMS will help to improve the warehouse processes. For this one, I think I will spend more time in the next 2 slides to explain more. The fifth one is actually to reduce the stock discrepancy. So let's say if you don't have any system, if you have an Excel, let's say you forgot to update the worksheet, then the stock will not become accurate anymore, and the discrepancy will happen. The last but not least is actually for the senior management. It's actually the real-time inventory visibility. So with the WMS in place, you can actually look at your current stock. What is your available balance? What is the goods coming through the warehouse? You can actually how many PO are opened, how many shipments or sales order are in the system ready to be processed, how many shipments are actually in the picking, how many shipments are actually in the packing, etc., etc. So these are the key drivers for the WMS implementation. But for today, I'm actually only focusing on these two, which is basically how to optimize the storage, how WMS can improve also the warehouse processes. Okay, this is the typical warehouse. I will start with the warehouse inbound flow. So the first one is actually we receive the ASN or a PO from the host system or the ERP. We have the advanced shipping notice, or we call it a planning from the supplier, which goods will come to our warehouse. So we usually have that information in place. We give it to the WMS. So the WMS know what we'll receive for today, for example. The second one is actually when the truck arrives, they will do the actual process in the warehouse. So they do the actual unloading from the truck and do the actual receiving. If there is a QA in place, they will do the QA. Again, it will trigger from the WMS. The WMS can actually tell which item needs to do the QC, which item doesn't need to do the QC. So it's all a system triggered event. The third one that the WMS will do is actually they will do the locating. So once they unload the goods, the operator will actually proceed with the locating. The locating rules are actually the one who can actually maximize the storage. The locating rule will actually they can, instead of the operator thinking, because they have been probably working in a warehouse for let's say 5 to 10 years, so they already memorized the locations. Instead of relying on the human, now all the locations are already registered in the WMS. So the WMS can actually find the best location to store the product in which rack or which zone or which area to put, whether it's an active area, whether it's a reserve area, whether it's a floor area, whether it's an overflow area. The last but not least, in the inbound, they will do the put away. From the system will actually tell, okay, you do the put away, let's say to the AA011. The WMS will actually trigger the event, tell the operator to go to the unloading area, to the staging area. They actually can scan the pallet ID or the license plate number, and then the handheld will show them where to put the item to. So this is how the WMS can actually improve the storage in your actual warehouse. So the put away itself, it's basically, even though let's say you have a pick and drop area, it can actually be set up in the WMS configuration. So it's a best investment actually for the WMS. So then it's also reduced the potential human error that can caused by a manual operations or without a system. The second big chunk of the WMS is on the outbound process flow. The first one is actually the sales order or the delivery order from your host system or the ERP. And then after we know how many orders that we will process for today, we will actually do the second one, which is the wave planning. This is the most crucial part in the outbound for the planning. The wave planning is actually all the orders get pulled into a set of rules that will basically embedded what needs to be done with these specific orders that come into the WMS. So the order allocation will actually be done in the wave process. The third one is actually the picking. Once you have the allocation for the picking will actually, you can do a multi-order pick at a time. You can do a batch picking. You can do a bulk pick and then segregate at the outbound staging. That's also possible. And again, that can be configured in the WMS perspective. And then after you do the picking, you will do the packing. So you can have like, let's say you do a multi-order pick, you have a outbound staging, you do the packing in the outbound area. So you do the packing and then you do close the shipment, put all the information readily available into the system, and you can actually print out the packing label or the packing list into the box itself or into the containers. That's about the outbound flow. Again, how the WMS can actually optimize the storage is actually rely on the wave planning. The wave planning actually inside there's a allocation, the first in, first out allocation, the first expired, first out allocation, the minimized travel. So the WMS know where is the exact location of that particular SKU or particular product. The system will give the best and optimized way to do the allocation of the SKU. That's pretty much on the outbound. So in summary, just to conclude for today's agenda, to optimize the storage and improve the warehouse processes, the WMS helps a lot. So basically start from the receiving, we do the locating and put away. On the outbound portion, we do the picking, we do the shipment, and then we do the stock take. The first one is in the receiving. What do we get once we have the WMS in place? First is basically we will increase the productivity of the personnel or your staffs. The productivity can be measured. Let's say in one day, how many case that a particular person can carry to do the put away, to do the receiving. That can be measured because everything, all the data is there. You just need to actually calculate the KPI and other measurements that you want to put in place in your company. The second one is actually improve the inventory tracking. Now you use the license plate number, you have the FIFO date, you have the manufacturing date, you have the serial numbers in place. So let's say if it's a serial number item, you can actually grab the serial number during the receiving, assuming you have the RF or the handheld in place in your current operation. The last one is actually you have the real-time updates and you have the visibility of your receiving for your warehouse. In the put away, you can actually increase the productivity of the personnel. So you are eliminating the human error and human thinking. Basically, it will be all system driven. System will suggest you where is the best way to do the put away for that particular SKU or product. The second one is you improve the space utilization, because basically in the receiving you have a locating rule. In that locating rule, again, it can be configured in the WMS, whether one location can mix expiry date, one location must have the same expiry date or lot or batch, that can be configured as well. And then the third one is you can actually minimize the travel distance because the WMS know where the goods are stored. So they will find the best way and the optimized way to put your product in your warehouse. The third one is in the picking. Traditionally, if you use paper, you can actually still use paper in the WMS, but again, in a more modern way, the way we do it now is through the handheld or the RF devices. You actually scan the item for the picking, and then it will tell you what is the SKU to pick and pick from which location. The second one, you will reduce the order cycle time because in a fast industry like e-commerce nowadays, the picking play a very crucial part. The more slow you pick, the more sales you will lose in that particular day. And then the third one, you can actually increase the on time ready to ship. So you have all the products readily available for the picking. You can actually prepare in advance and waiting for the your internal courier or your internal transporter to pick up the goods. Or if you use a third-party logistics to do the transporter, you can actually prepare the picking in advance. And then the last from the picking is actually you can increase the order picking accuracy. And then for the shipments or the delivery, basically all the inventory movements are now tracked from the receiving up until to the picking and up until the shipment. So you know this shipment goes to which customer, in which container number or in which pallet number, and goes to which truck number. That's all recorded in the WMS. In the stock tag, basically it's like a cycle count. You actually eliminate physical counting. Now you will have a more modern way to do the stock count. And then you have a high inventory accuracy in the stock tag. So in the early days, you use the pen and paper again in the paper-based style. But now if you use the WMS, you can actually go to that particular location, you scan the item, you can scan the quantity and the location. So it will be updated in real time. The difference between the old stock tag or the cycle count with the new, with the WMS, basically with the cycle count in WMS, you don't need to freeze the location. So let's say you only want to do a stock tag on a high value area or a high value zone. You can actually do that without disturbing your operations. Your inbound and outbound still working, but only the high value zone is locked, which is basically they will do the stock count on that particular area. And then the last one is basically there's a create activity of the cycle count if there is an event of exceptions. Let's say when they do the picking, they will ask to get an SKU A, the quantity is 10. When they go to that particular location, they go to that area, but found out that in that particular picking location only available only 8. So what the operator will do is basically they will pick whatever available, they will pick 8 and then confirm, and then an event of a stock tag will happen in the background. So a second operator will go to that particular location and do the stock tag. So that's pretty much an overall preview of warehouse management system. So that's pretty much the topic for today from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Any questions? Session? No. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what we'll do is, I'm thinking we'll skip the coffee break. I'll ask the team to serve coffee on the table.